Hi everybody, welcome back to Mando Lessons. My name is Baron Collins Hill. In this week's lesson, we are going to work on learning what chord should accompany a given melody. This is a question I get all the time. You know, you hear a melody, maybe you even know a melody, but you don't know what chords happen, when they change, what chord to start on. All that sort of stuff can be a little bit of a mystery, and I'm going to break down how I kind of work it out in my head and in my fingers, and I'm going to take you along for the ride with me. We're going to be using the melody to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's a classic hundreds-year-old melody that most people at least recognize. It's also the melody to the ABC song, and it's a great example of how you can sort of match chords to any given melody note. We're going to be doing it in the key of G. If you haven't already learned the tune, I do have a lesson on my website, mandolessons.com, where I teach the melody really quickly. So if you're unfamiliar with the melody or want a refresher, check that out and then come back to this lesson. I put out new lessons every single week on the website and on my YouTube channel, so subscribe if you haven't already. All my lessons are always free, but there are a couple ways to support me and support the channel. I've got links to a PayPal donation in the description, as well as a Patreon page where you can become a member, get access to lessons a day early, get patron-only live streams, and some other things like that. You can also get discounts on merch as a Patreon member, or merch is a great way to support the channel as well. I've got t-shirts, I've got mugs and bags, all sorts of stuff. All the links are in the description. No pressure, but it really helps keep the channel going and helps me put out new lessons every single week. For now, though, let's jump into today's lesson. Alright, so we're going to use Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in the key of G, and whether you're working with this tune or, something else that's really a classic melody, a lot of times people will be, singing bluegrass or folk songs. This isn't particularly a folk song or bluegrass song so much, but you can use these same exact principles to work out the chords to any given melody if you just put a little practice in. So, starting out, you're probably going to be given, pretending this is a bluegrass song, somebody might say, all right, let's do that classic bluegrass song, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, in the key of G. And everybody goes, all right. So starting out, there's probably going to be somebody playing the melody. Maybe that's you. And as we worked on, sounds something like that. And when somebody says it's in the key of G, a great place to start with thinking about chords is G the first chord? And so if we take the melody and start singing it, start working with chords in our hands, that's going to be a great way to sort of start figuring out how things sound good and where they might sound off. So let's start out, just as a guess. Often you'll have a 3-chord song in bluegrass or folk music, and that's exactly what's going on here. So you can say, I've got 3 choices right off the bat. It's either a G chord, a C chord, or a D chord. And so we have twang, twang. Gotta get my voice. I'm not much of a singer, but maybe this can inspire you to also sing along. It's a great way to work on your vocals, just to kind of try to sing a melody that you're trying to play the chords to. Gotta find that first note. Twinkle, twinkle. So, sounds like a G chord might work here. So let's just strum a G chord. Don't worry about tempo at this point, but twinkle, twinkle. And what you're going to be doing is, again, don't worry about tempo. You're going to be, pretty much my go-to method is play a chord until it doesn't sound good anymore. So in this case, twinkle sounds good, twinkle also sounds good, little, and you get to little and it doesn't sound great over that G chord. Twinkle, twinkle, little. No, that's not gonna work. So at that point you say, okay, we gotta change up our pattern here. We gotta move to a new chord, but man, what chord do I move to? Well, you got 2 options. In the key of G, you can try a G chord, a C chord, or a D chord. Those are the big 3 major chords you're going to find in any classic folk song or bluegrass song. So, from here, let's try just, I kind of think of it as a 50-50 chance at first. after a while of doing this with a bunch of different songs, you'll start to get a sense of, oh, it sounds like it's going to go to a C chord or a 4 chord or a D chord, a 5 chord. But for, starting out, if you're brand new to the idea of figuring out chords by ear, a great way is just to, guess blindly. It's a 50-50 chance. So let's try a D just just by chance. So starting on a G chord, we're going to go to a D chord when we get to little. Twinkle, twinkle, little. No, that doesn't work. So now we're down to one option. Let's try a C chord where it gets to little. Twinkle, twinkle, little. Yeah, there we go. That sounds great. So now we repeat the pattern. Let's stay on a C chord until it doesn't sound good anymore. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. That doesn't sound good. Once you get to star, that C chord doesn't last long. It's time to move on. So, star. Either a D or a G will work in that situation. So let's try them both and see what we like better. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. That D chord sounds okay, but it also kind of leaves the song sounding a little up in the air and unresolved. So let's see what happens when you go back to a G. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Yeah, I like the sound of that the best. So we're going to go back to the G, little star. And, continuing on with the pattern, let's play that G chord until it doesn't sound good anymore. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. No, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work either. That sounds great. So we go back to C, and then wonder, 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 wonder. Back to G. So we have how I wonder where you are. So kind of working through, kind of note by note. It's a slow process at first, but the more you do it, the quicker you'll get, the better your brain will be at anticipating what particular chord is coming. Again, you only have two options with most folk songs, so that's a great place to start, is just guessing wildly, and by the end, you'll end up with something like this. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And then the second half, let's keep playing G just because that's what we've started. We've ended on that, how I wonder what you are is on a G. Our rule is keep playing it till it doesn't sound good. Hey, that sounds good. And we have a similar melody going on. So let's see if we can kind of identify some of those chords by feeling. Up above the world so high, like a diamond. That's the same thing in the sky. So we had that same melody twice. So 9 times out of 10, those chords are going to be the same. And then you're back to the first phrase. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And so by working through one phrase at a time, again, it's a little tedious at first, but really just using trial and error. Again, 50% of the time, once you have to change chords, you got two options. And just kind of guesswork at first is a great way to go about it. And beyond that, you can then, start to get a feel as you hear more melodies and put more chords over those melodies. You'll really start to kind of gain some intuition about which chord it's going to. Once you've got the chords all under your fingers and at those particular points where they change in the melody, at that point, your next goal is to just get a nice solid rhythm. Again, don't worry too much about right hand fancy stuff going on. Don't worry about strum patterns. You're really just working on getting that first constant rhythm. You can play with the metronome if you like, or just tap your foot, or just set up a nice rhythm before you start singing. So then we get twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And then from there, you can start working on getting a strum pattern. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Or you could turn it into bluegrass. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. All right, so that got a little silly at the end, but if anybody has a great bluegrass version of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, I'd love to hear it, love to see it. I hope that was helpful for you. Again, it's really a process of doing that going through that process of kind of the 3-chord guessing for a couple tunes. Work within the same key, do a bunch in the key of G, slowly, out of time at first, and then figure out where those chords work just by ear. Your brain is going to tell you, when you get to twinkle, twinkle, little, just hold out that note with your voice and play a chord, and if it doesn't sound good, it's probably not good. There's going to be a little variation that I'll talk about in future lessons. But for now, that's a great place to start with kind of building your ear training on what chord to play over any given melody. I hope you found that helpful. Again, new lessons every single week here on YouTube and on the website. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.